You're listening to the world of business and taxes with Mike Lodge, keeping you informed. So let's get started.
And welcome to the podcast of the WBT. This is Michael Lodge. I'm glad that you joined me this morning. This is Political Tuesday. And on Political Tuesdays, I take on the establishment. And let me tell you, the establishment stinks to high heaven at the moment. So last night and this morning, the GOP leader in the Senate, McConnell, said that he cannot pass the repeal and replace Obamacare or ACA. So this kind of tells you that if you are expecting to get tax reform done, it's not going to get done. And it's not going to get done because the Republicans are not working together. They have built their own little political power structures within the Senate, and they do not want to bend to get something done. They do not want to compromise. They do not want to get something established that can change things for the better and for Americans. So I tell you, I woke up this morning, I was just really pissed off. And I'm pissed off because I've now come to the conclusion, which has been seeping into my mind over the last year. This is why I left the GOP as a member, because I just felt that if you want to talk about the swamp, you have to start looking at the GOP. They've got the power of the Congress. They've got control of the legislative bodies of the Congress and of the Senate and of the White House. They could be doing so much good. They could be changing things in the United States for the betterment of Americans, but instead they are bogged down in politics. And politics and political agendas is what gets nothing done. That's what got nothing done in the Obama administration, and that's what's getting done right now in the GOP-led legislature. Can you believe this? You've got the power to make great changes. You have the majority to pass legislation that can help Americans, and you sit there twiddling your thumbs because you don't like a certain portion of the healthcare bill, or you don't like what somebody said, or it is ridiculous. I tweeted out this morning, I said, the GOP will never get anything done. And they won't get anything done because they don't know how to do anything. I'm come to that conclusion that they just don't know how to get anything done. They don't know how to do anything about their job. When you are talking about a piece of legislation, you have to bring everybody to the table, pound it out, and get it done. At least when the Democrats, when they pounded out ACA or Obamacare, it got done. It got passed. And here the Republicans are sitting there looking like idiots. So we have a problem. We have a problem of representation. We have taxation without representation. That is the problem. They don't want to listen to Americans. What they want to do is do their own thing. So you've got an issue that if we don't clean this up very quickly, the GOP will no longer be in power. I think that anybody in the Democratic side or on the Republican side, remember that the silent majority are the ones who changed America in this past election by voting in Trump. Everybody said, no, it's not going to be done. But the silent majority pushed that button, pushed that lever in the voting booth, and decided who was going to become president. So don't forget that if you are running for a congressional office, Democrat or Republican, and you have done or said something really stupid, that silent majority remembers everything that you said. And let me tell you, GOP McConnell, the American people, the silent majority, are watching you very carefully at the moment. And all of you senators who are saying nay to taking out this ACA healthcare bill, you are being watched. I tell you, the American people have become fed up with how politics works in this country, because we have specifically said, in putting the American people, the silent majority, specifically said when they put Trump in office that they wanted you, senators, members of Congress, to work with this president, to get things done, to repeal ACA, to have tax reform that is simple and less so complicated and puts Americans into trouble. This is what we told you we wanted done. And you failed to listen because you are playing the political game of nonsense. So the silent majority are sitting back and they're watching this. And they're saying, I wonder if these people really should be back into Congress. We don't have term limits, but we have the voting power. We have the ability to make change. We have the ability to vote people out and replace them with people that may listen to what we have to say. Americans have come to the conclusion that taxation without representation just is not working anymore. So you members of the GOP who are sitting there thinking that you're doing something great for this country are actually doing a disservice, because it shows that you are not united as a party, and you have not united with the people of the country. You have pushed Americans to the side. You have pushed our voices to nowhere. You're at the point now where you're looking very foolish because you have the power to do great things for this nation. And still you choose to play the politics of the swamp. I tell you, when Donald Trump came up with that wording, the swamp, it is really the swamp, because they get so bogged down in the political issues that they forget about what really needs to get done. Even if they were just to keep the one promise that they said they would do, and that is repeal Obamacare, at least they would be keeping a promise. But now that they can't even do that, do not ever expect that tax reform will get done, because they are not working together and their political agenda is screwed up. Their voices have become ununited. Their ability to get anything done has become put into disarray. Politics is evil, I'm telling you. Politics and an agenda of their own, and not uniting together as a nation, that is how a nation can get disrupted and put to the side. Americans, we have a problem here. We have a problem where we are supposed to have control over our leaders, and instead they have control over our lives. Government has now become infused within our healthcare system. Government has made a complicated tax code that puts you and I in liability if we just mark one thing wrong on a tax return, under penalty and perjury. We have a problem. And if we do not correct this as a nation, government will always be in charge of us. We are Americans. This country was formed based upon the belief that England was overpowering us as a new nation. We paid our taxes, but yet we had no say in what government would do for us. We're in the exact same boat as where we were when we were a young nation. And now we are an older nation, but yet we have the same problems. Where and when are Americans going to stand up and say, okay, I'm paying for your salary, Mr. Senator. I asked you to repeal Obamacare. I asked you to reform the tax code to make it simpler. And yet you do nothing because of the politics that you want to play. Is your power base that you're trying to build as a senator more important than the voice of America? The voice of those people who put you in office. Is your power more important than my voice, of America's voices? So don't expect that anything is going to get done on tax reform. It just will not be done. If they cannot agree to reform ACA, which has 21 taxes in it by itself, if they cannot reform even just taking out the tax portion of it, ACA is going to live on, and pretty soon government will be more deeper into your life and my life than ever before. And it's going that way very quickly. That's what the Democrats wanted. They wanted us to become dependent upon the government for our healthcare needs. And the GOP is letting them do it. It's a very sad situation that we have lost control over the people who represent us. Politics has got to be put to the side, and the GOP have got to come together and get something done. Don't be fools. Don't sit there and look so foolish, GOP. You look like you can't even perform your jobs. You can't even get a single bill passed without a fight within your own party. Thank God I went independent 2 years ago, because I had just had enough of seeing a party destroy itself. And I couldn't go Democrat because they're even worse. They have destroyed America. That's even worse. So GOP, get your act together, because Americans are watching you. That silent majority that put the president in his office can take you out of office. And it will happen, because Americans are fed up. So if you are an American who believes that this nation needs better representation in Congress, start pounding on your members of Congress and members of the Senate who represent you. Do not let up on them. They represent you, and they have to listen to you. But if they do not do something, if they do not get stuff done, if they do not keep their promises to the American people that they have bitched and moaned about for 8 years now, and they still do not have a plan, don't ever expect them to have any other plan that they can get through or accomplish of getting done. We, the people, the silent majority, who go to work every single day, trying to make a living, trying to pay our taxes, trying to support our family, trying to support our local communities and our churches. We are the silent majority, and our voice counts. This is Michael Lodge. If you want to listen to my podcast, you can go to iHeartRadio and iTunes, and you can also go to our website at www.wbtpod.com, and all of my podcasts are there. This is brought to you by Lodging Company, a business and tax advisory firm. You can call them at 877-778-1770, and they